Welcome to my weekly review. Today is Saturday, February 15th. I hope you all enjoyed your Valentine's Day yesterday. Last week was a constructive week. I'm showing you a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which was up 81 points or 0.41% on Friday, with 2% above the average 50-day volume. I just, wanted to point out here, I said last week was constructive. Well, why is that? You just talking out your ass or what? No, I'm saying that because on Thursday, the low of the day was above the 21 EMA. You can see the low is 19,675 and the 21 was 659. So that is one positive where the low of the session was above. And we've had a lot of, kind of negative news here with inflation data and tariff talk and all that. I'm going to get to that in a minute, but just wanted to point out that on Friday, the low was well above the 21 EMA. So that's 2 days in a row. The low is 19,932 and the 21 EMA was 692. So we're well above this 21, which is the magenta line. You could see these three moving averages converged to within 0.1% last week. And then finally, we broke out to the upside of this little pennant pattern here that had been forming from the 20,118. You can see you can even go here, the higher lows and the lower highs just pinching in, tight trading. And now we popped out of that little pennant pattern. And I think that's a positive. The close was above 20,000 for the first time since something like January 11th or so. So it's got some targets here. The Nasdaq does. I would say if we're looking at some levels here, you'd want to get above the high of 20,118 from the week of January 24. And then, of course, the when Jerome Powell had spoke about rates on the 16th, that week of the 20th, that hit that high of 20,204. Then that's when we had that 7% correction. If I go to the 30-minute chart now, because I wanted to talk about this, we've been having this tariff talk and higher inflation data, and the market shrugging this off. But for 3 Fridays in a row, this market sold off. There you can see the 24th it sold off, and then on the 31st sold off hard. And then last Friday, the 7th, man, it really sold off. So every Friday had been selling off, and the weekend had been, deemed as like a risk event every weekend. I think the market's gotten kind of used to, the new administration, just the kind of the talk that comes out, and it's kind of shrugging it off now. And so it's powering higher. You can see last Friday, which was yesterday, how it closed on a Valentine's Day. Thank you very much. So, everybody can have a happy Valentine's Day. We have a 3-day weekend, so you think that this is going to be more of a risk event, and you saw buyers coming in. So to me, this is constructive and it's bullish action on the Nasdaq. And I follow the Nasdaq because most of the growth stocks are that I follow are on the Nasdaq, but I can't ignore the S&P, which had a little divergence from the Nasdaq because it had made this high on December 6th of 6,099, then made another a new high, I should say, on 6,128 on the 24th of January before, consolidating or, pulling back or digesting gains or backing and filling, however you want to term it. But now it's starting to attack this 6,128 old high again. Yesterday got up to 127, so within a point of that. So to me, I mean, that's really bullish action when these indexes are near new highs and above their moving averages. This one's 1.1% above the 21, 1.8% above the rising 50. So to me, that's a bullish scenario. I don't want to get too crazy because I do expect profit taking and some selling, but overall, I think we're still in an uptrend, and it's looking constructive, as I say. I don't trade indexes. I just like to have the tailwinds from the index as I trade. And I just want to point out, we know that the Mag 7 drive the indexes, and there's no stronger Magnificent 7 stock than Meta Platforms, which there's a new rule on Wall Street that Zuckerberg stock must go up every day. And that's what it's done for like the last month, it seems. The last down day was this little tiny inside day on January 16th. So it has been a month, since it bounced off that 50 there. I think it's been like 18, 19, or 20 days. I'm not going to count them. It doesn't matter. Some other, stocks in the Mag 7 showing strength was Apple. Hit that low there. You can see it's still consolidating within a base, but hit that low of 219, bounced nicely. So there are some stocks in this index showing strength. NVIDIA got whacked on that, deep seek day. It was down like, for a stock like NVIDIA to be down, what is that, 16.97%, yeah, on January 27th, and then followed through to the downside, made a low of 113, and then has rallied off that 113, 25 points. So showing strength now above the 50, it undercut the 200, now has rallied back above all moving averages. So NVIDIA looks strong. So like I said, I'm not going to go through all the Mag 7 stocks. I want to point out some earnings movers because I believe earnings, I know technicians will say it's all in the charts, but it's not. I want to trade stocks that have earnings, and I use the chart to confirm. But yeah, I just like having stocks that are showing earnings growth and, popping on earnings. Monday reported on Monday and had a nice pop. Yeah, it pulled back a little bit. You got to expect some profit taking, but still consolidating, within that 324, that pivot point there. So it's got this nice flag pattern well above the low from the gap day on Monday. So Monday to me looks pretty darn good on the daily chart. The low is 295.47. If you take a look at the weekly, this is a weekly review, and last week it was up 23%. Thank you very much. And you can see it's still near its pivot point and, the gap higher, on earnings and the consolidation. But look at that, the blue volume bar from last week. So there was probably some short covering and some institutional support there. And I just want to go through some stocks that have gapped up on earnings because I just want to point out that earnings are a big deal to me. You could look at that earnings line. This is Doximity, DOCS, gapped higher the prior week, made a new high last week, but then pulled back, 2.7%, which is to be expected. There's going to be some profit taking, but this one, once again, did not breach the low of the 71.50 from the gap day. And so this one looks good to me as well. That's Doximity. A couple other ones that, just strong leading stocks that reported strong earnings. And you can see that, this is Palantir. It's got the meta profile that it needs to go up every day. But you can see the earnings line heading due north, and so is the stock. So there's a correlation there that cannot be ignored. I don't think Spotify, another one of my leading stocks here, once again, breaking out of a base, nice earnings move on this week here, 14% earnings line heading north, subscriber line heading north. The stock is heading north, and just, you cannot deny that strength. App 11, okay, these guys reported last week, and, we put this one on our leading stock list at like 88 bucks back in, when was this? I don't know, September 11th, it gapped up out of a base. I do know that, 13%. And it had already moved from like $40 to $80, and that's what put it on our radar. It already had doubled. And a lot of stocks that have are 10 baggers, they start off as one bagger, right? Or two baggers, I should say. So it went up 100%, and now from the 88, now it's gone up to like 500 bucks. So this is more than a five bagger when, people thought it was already extended because it was already up, 100%. So App 11, just a monster stock, and the poster stock for software names in this bull market or uptrending market, if you will. But you can see it broke out of this base here. And I know a lot of folks said, it's a climax top and, breakouts don't work and all that noise, but seeing is believing, up 35% last week. Thank you very much. Blue dot just ripping higher. 99%. You're not going to find many stocks better than this one, up 134 points. And yeah, it made a high of 525 and pulled back a little bit, but still it's 2.9% off of its high. And yeah, that's just a move not to be ignored. Inside on Friday, and I gotta believe this one's going higher. Yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Dutch Bros, another one taking market share from Starbucks, no doubt, had an inside day on Friday. But you cannot ignore that move on Thursday, 29% move, a little bit of a pullback on Friday. If we take a look at the weekly, this is a 2021 IPO, and now we're starting to see some of these 2021 IPOs, which sold off in the bear market of 2022, flattened out for a while, and now just busting higher in 2024, 2025. And we want to make sure we note that this 8140 here, people are getting back to even from that old high. So all shareholders from 8140 back in November of 2021, before Powell started raising rates and starting this bear market in 2022, this thing has recovered everything. So every shareholder in Dutch Bros should be a winner at this point. And I just want to say these guys are taking market share. Once again, this is an earnings story. You can look down here at their sales and earnings, taking market share from Starbucks. I have so many stories about Dutch Bros that I could share, and I believe in signs like that when I talk to people telling me about their Dutch Bros. But anyway, I don't want to get into it. This is a weekly review, and I want to get through it fairly quickly. Another earnings report last week from Hood. Now, this one, I got to go to the weekly. This is a weekly review. Had this high of 85. Okay, that one week it was 85, but basically let's call it $60, 59.60, and it just breached that last week and traded and closed above that area, $60 here. It closed at 65.28. But to me, this is just getting started. This is just one big base. If you read the Kathy Donnelly and Eve's book, the Life Cycle Trade, about the cycles of IPO, this could be considered just one big IPO base, and now it's reaching its advanced phase, and who knows how long it's going to advance for. But I think it's just getting started. And of course, it's an earnings and sales growth story. Look, you got triple digit sales and earnings growth, and that's what drives the stock, higher. And sorry for the green screen there, but the earnings line's going higher and the stock's going higher, and that correlation, like I say, cannot be ignored. Another stock that reported earnings last week, and I bought this one, had it on the ready list. I was waiting for the earnings report to get out of the way, and once they reported earnings, first of all, I got to slow down a little bit. Had this buy point here at 120.72. Okay, so that was my, kind of like my eyeballing it. You could buy it a little below or a little below and above. And what happened last week on, let's go to a 10-minute chart. You could see the earnings. It wiggled and it wobbled, after the earnings report. This is Monday here, and it reported Tuesday morning. And it did this, whoop, and it give you the old okey doke. So all the retail, or I don't know, I shouldn't say retail, or people will call it dumb money, jumped in, and then they got the hoodwink, right? They got the okey doke, and they got slammed. But this is why I say you got to give it time, give it some time, a day or two to get the wiggles and the wobbles out. And so it started to stabilize. And on Thursday had this nice move, and then on Friday showing strength as well. So I like shop going into next week. I took it off. I'm going to take it off the ready list because it's a little extended and starting to push away from that base. But if you look at the weekly, I believe it's just going higher. I got to get this out of here. Yeah, just breaking out of this base here. I know people say, "Oh, it's a late stage base, a stage five." I don't care. I'm just going to be in it until I'm going to surf that wave until it crashes. And as long as you got a decent entry level there at 120, you're already up $8. So yeah, 6% move. Yeah, all right, well, I'll take it. Another earnings mover last week was going the wrong way, and this is when we see these these broken charts. I talk about this a lot, and people probably get sick of me saying this, but yeah, that's a sign. The slice of the 50, then it rallies up to the 50, and then gets rejected there. And on earnings, I think they reported Wednesday morning, and then it just sold off 10%, and then followed through to the downside on Thursday and Friday. No, I'm not going to short that. it's a bull market. We're in an uptrend. I'm looking for stocks going higher, but that does not look good. And it was a decent earnings report too. If you look at the earnings report, you know, accelerating sales and earnings growth. So maybe it just needs to consolidate there around that 100 level and form a new base. But yeah, not a good response to a very strong report from Vertiv Holdings. Still a good, great, well-run company and a stock that I like. It just needs time to heal and recover. Gilead reported had this nice response here, up 7.5%. It's good to see because a lot of the biotechs have been really struggling recently, and maybe with the confirmation of RFK, that'll change because that uncertainty is out of the way. Whether you like them or not, I don't really care. I'm here to make money in stocks, and maybe that uncertainty, because stocks do not like uncertainty, and that uncertainty has been removed. So I'm looking for better things from drugs and biotech after that confirmation. So Gilead looks good. CLFT, this is one. Oops, CFLT. I've got dyslexia. A Confluent reported and had a nice move on Wednesday, had an inside day on Thursday. Yeah, 25% move. When you see a move like that, you got to expect some profit taking. But the low of that session there was 32.33 and it closed at 34.85. So still a long way from breaching the low of the gap day. And you can see it's trying to break out and it still has that buy point there at 35.07. That one I am going to include on my ready list if I could spell the ticker correctly. At the CFLT Confluent 3507. I think that is definitely one to watch for next week. In the following weeks, this is a stage one base and it's trying to break out. Up 16% last week, 8% off of its 52-week high. Just one that I wouldn't ignore. All right. A couple other ones. SMCI, this company really would say it has a buy point here at 48. It's below the 200. Yeah, I would be more comfortable above, the 200. The company has had a lot of turmoil, and I just don't like accounting issues, and so I've stayed away from this one. But no denying that base, no denying it had, a great move and, that made a bottom here. Yeah, no denying none of that stuff. 61% off its 52-week high. That is just not my style. So if you bought that and had a big week, up 25% last week, congratulations. But yeah, I mean, it's triple digit sales. But I think the CEO talked about 40 billion in annual revenues in 2026, I believe. So, take that with a grain of salt. All right. DoorDash, this is one of my favorite stocks. I know you shouldn't have favorites because that implies emotion. You're emotionally attached to DoorDash. I just have had some signs. It's another one of those 2021 IPO stocks. On New Year's, a kid couldn't get through the gate, so I opened the gates for him to get into the community, and he says, "I'm just here from DoorDash delivering." It was New Year's morning. And I said, "Oh, that's got to be a sign, right? DoorDash delivering on New Year's." But it's a stock that, just continually climbing higher. Had this cup with handle pattern and broke out back in September. Ran up, consolidated here, flat base pattern, kind of a later stage base, but I wouldn't let that bother me. And now I know every time I post this on Twitter, people say it's extended, it's stretched, it's overvalued. Look at this earnings line heading due north, folks. Whenever people say it's overvalued, that tells you they're not in the stock. They missed it. And so I'm here to make money in stocks. I'm not here to judge if a stock's overvalued or not. I will let institutions decide that. From what I know from, fundamentals at 23, 25, and 28, 25 is increasing or accelerating sales growth, and you could see the earnings growth. You could see the triple digit, earnings growth and estimates going forward are pretty strong here. So DoorDash has a nice business model for the gig economy, and I like DoorDash. Yeah, it's one of my holdings, and as well as AppLovin, Bros, and Hood. So I'm a sucker for heat and strength, and not stocks like SMCI. That's just my style. Another one that I have to mention, reported earnings last week is Upstart. You can see it gapped higher and then pulled back in the next couple of days, but I wouldn't give up on this one. The low of the session, it was $80 on the gap day, came down to $80.02 on Friday, but it's got that standard buy point of 88.95, straight up from the bottom, 59.95, call it $60 to 88. So Upstart, just I would not ignore this. I'd put it on my ready list. You could see the blue dot here indicating strength. You could see the base here, cup shape, stage one base. There's a lot to like here with Upstart. So don't ignore that move. ASND, this is a biotech stock. I know a lot of people just hate biotechs, and it's still consolidating within a base there. Yeah, just consolidating within a base, but earnings, move. This one is a biotech with earnings. Nice move last week of 20%. Don't ignore that one either. A couple more, and then I'm going to move on. Roku, not a company. I should bite my tongue. It just broke out of a base. How about that? 14% on Friday. Following its earnings report, DraftKings, another one that broke out of a base. If you go to the weekly, though, you could say that's one might still be actionable, even though it's extended on the daily, up 26.5% last week. That one looks good as well. Then ABNB, another one that I don't really like their business model, but you cannot, deny the strength and the move. Looks like it broke above a downtrend line. Last week on Friday, especially, yeah, look at that move, man. Up 14%. So congrats to Airbnb longs. All right. That's it for me. All right. I want to go to just some heat stocks because I know people like strength. I like strength. This is what I like. And I missed HIMS. I was wrong on HIMS. I like Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly because they're bigger, larger, more liquid. But this one, now with the RFK confirmation, which I mentioned earlier, this is seemed to be or expected to be like more lenient on I don't know because they have compounders, all right? They don't have the original drug like Lilly, Mounjaro, and Novo, Ozempic, and Wegovy. So there's been some people that have actually used their drugs and died. Okay, so that's I know people talk about slight issues with Mounjaro and Wegovy, but dying is that's a pretty serious side effect. And but this one has it's doubled already in 2025. So just acknowledging strength here. I completely missed it. You can see the base here. So, you can't kiss all the babies and you can't be right all the time. It's just when you're right, you want to ride the wave and be really right. And when you're wrong, you just want to lose less than 5%. So that's just my style. It's worked for me. And yeah, congrats to the longs there on HIMS. And would I buy it now? No, I missed it. Sometimes you just got to say, like Mick Jagger sings, they come and go like streetcars. So catch the next streetcar. Definitely one that I missed and was very strong. Sometimes you just got to admit you were wrong. All right, 77 would be this, standard buy area. This is the Tempest medical research equipment stock that Nancy Pelosi made popular with her position. You could see though it does have this accelerating sales growth, 25 to 33 anyway, and accelerating earnings growth, which is something I look for there 2 quarters. And on the weekly chart, you can see it's just starting to break out. And look at this earnings line. So that's one that I'm definitely interested. One that I missed, but interested in. And I have just any kind of a pullback, please. But these stocks are the heat stocks, HIMS and TEM Tempest. They're up 100% or more in 2025. Stocks that go up 100%, in a short period of time tend to go up 3, 4, 5, 6, 1,000. So we saw that with MicroStrategy and AppLovin and NVIDIA and SMCI last year, and these ones are flashing. This is Celestica, electronic contract manufacturing stock, up more than 100% in 2025, and you could see it had this whack day on the deep seek in a lot of stocks. I just showed you Vertiv, it failed. It's a broken chart. sliced its 50, but what did it do? It reported earnings and just rammed right back to new highs. And that's what you have to do. You have to recover immediately if you're going to, have a whack day like that and close below the 50. And this one did that. So this one to me is kind of a buy here. It's got, I believe, near like a 3 weeks type pattern now. Similar, just showing strength. Up, look at the earnings line once again. This one's not expensive. I mean, it's got a market cap of 15 billion with 10 billion in sales. So 1.5 times sales. It's not one of those ones where you're gonna post a chart on Twitter and everybody's gonna say it's overvalued, it's stretch, I'm gonna short it. Well, go ahead. You want stocks that people say they want to short and doubting because once everybody's in this boat and bullish, that's when the thing falls apart. So I'm still positive on CLS. Another one, 100% move in 2025, which is what, 6, 7 weeks long. I think we've had 7 weeks as GRAL broke out of that 2147 area, had this nice sharp, shakeout and then move higher. This, I believe, is the IBD number one stock, and you can see its earnings line is starting to head due north, which, eventually you're going to need some earnings here, but big volume move. Last week it was up 70%. Yeah, I just got to say, I missed that one like hymns. I missed it. MNPR, another biotech stock, um, up 100%. And I know people don't like biotech stocks. I don't like stocks without earnings. I will speculate. This one's highly speculative, very thin, but up 100% in 2025. And the last one I'm going to post is OKLO. This one I do like. This one I do trade because it's got this clear pattern. Since the breakout there, it had that buy point at 28. There's your shakeout to the 50, then the move higher. And ever since then, every time it pulls back, it finds support. And it only sells off for a day or two and then moves higher. It was down Friday, so I'm watching this one for next week. And if you look at it on a different time frame, you could see every dip is being bought on this one. There's your dip, bought, dip, bought, dip, bought, dip, really bought. That was the day that it got upgraded. Dip again and then rip higher. And now we have a dip on Friday. So I'm hoping it comes down on Monday and give us another chance there at that 10 EMA. So anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. In honor of the great Steve Jobs, I have one more thing, and that is earnings. I'm all about earnings. Weekly review. I love earnings season. I love, seeing stocks like Dutch Bros taking market share from Starbucks. That's those themes to me are they're exciting and I love seeing them play out. And we're going to hear more from stocks this week. WGS reports on Tuesday. Remember, Monday is a President's Day holiday, so the markets are closed at AXSM. I believe this is a clear buyout target here. You can see that gap higher now flagging. They report on Tuesday. Arista Networks reports after the close Tuesday, and Shift 4 Payments reports Tuesday after the close. I really like this chart here. I might buy a little bit just for prior to earnings, just because I have a hunch there. Toll Brothers reports, and of course, the home builders have been hit with higher interest rates. So I want to hear what they have to say. And then CDNS, this is a semiconductor, like a chip designer. So I want to hear what they have to say on Tuesday. Etsy reports on Wednesday. Yeah, Garmin reports on Wednesday. Wix, we saw a lot of software names hit and miss, like AppLovin and Palantir doing great. GoDaddy and Twilio, not so much. And Datadog had weak guidance. So I want to hear what Wix has to say. I think it'll be okay. Um, FVRR retail name reporting Wednesday. GLBE, this is Global E Online Reports, really strong stock. Had a nice response to the last earnings report. So let's hope that this is a serial gapper to the upside. TECK, this is a one of the miners. The miners a lot of miners, with the commodities have been ripping higher, so I would expect a strong report from TECK. They should. Carvana reports in the afternoon. TOST, I mentioned 4. That's a nice base there, Carvana. TOST, another nice base there. I think TOST and 4 will have strong reports just based on, retail sales during the fourth quarter, unless they're screwing up. Cake, another retail restaurant name reporting. They should have a good report as well. And then another biotech name, EXAS, Exact Sciences report. Then on Thursday morning, we have Baba reporting, and then Walmart. Baba's been in a tear. Walmart on a tear. So they should probably have pretty good reports. And another minor uranium stock, Cameco reports. And then in the afternoon, we have MELI, which is a Brazilian. Look at that double bottom base. They report Thursday after the close. So does Rivian. Interested to see what Rivian has to say, see how much money they're losing on each automobile. XYZ, which was formerly Square, which is Block. I don't know why they change. IBM has been IBM forever. GM has been GM forever. Why do you need to change your ticker symbol every couple of years? Booking.com. Now, I expect Booking Holdings to have a strong earnings report because of the theme of the boomers traveling all over the place. You look at the airlines, you look at the these cruise lines, you look at you look at the booking reports. They've all been pretty strong, so I expect this theme to continue, and I think they're probably taking market share. That's Booking Holdings. They report Thursday. Texas Roadhouse, nice sell-off, undercut the 50 prior to earnings. They should have a good report as well. And the last one is Guardian Health. Thank you for watching. Looking forward to earnings this week at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. Have a great weekend. Thank you for watching.